Thank you, guys. Uh, my parents came from Tijuana. They're here. They drove up. So, and then my daughter, my wife. She's so young. She looks like she could be my daughter. Is back there with my son. So, hi, you guys. So, I'll tell you guys super fast. So when I got started, I always did Latino. I've always been very inspired by Mexico and my culture, and I've always been very proud. And so when I first started, I came to the U.S. and I went to film school. You know, I'm from Mexico City, but then my father thought it was too dangerous, so he moved us to Tijuana. So. That was a good call, Dad. So then I came to LA and I started doing a lot of stuff very much inspired by Dia de los Muertos and Lucha Libre, and all the stuff I love. And all my teachers in school would look at all my work and they would say, "You're never gonna get a job if you keep doing this stuff." And I didn't speak English very well, so all I heard was, "Do this, get job." So I kept doing that stuff, and eventually, I didn't know any better. So I would go to different studios and I would present my work, and they would always say, "Oh, this stuff is really cool, but we don't make any shows that would have someone like you fit in because of the stuff you draw. Do you draw any non-Latin stuff, or do you write any non-Latin stuff?" And I would say, that's who I am. That's the only stuff I do. And so literally people would tell me, if Scooby-Doo ever goes to Mexico, we know who to call. And if the Rugrats ever get stuck in Oaxaca, you're gonna be the guy doing that episode. And so at one point, a producer who was not Latino said to me, Jorge, I'm not going to hire you. I really like your stuff, but I'm not going to hire you. But I'll give you a piece of advice. The only person who's going to hire you to do this stuff is you. So that's the only way you're going to get a job. You have to be sitting in my chair. You have to be the creator. You have to be the producer. You have to be the guy who made the show. And then you can hire yourself. And so that's what I did. And honestly, the math of Hollywood, I'm in the animation world. The math of Hollywood is they're always going to make stuff. They're always going to make new cartoons. They're always going to make new movies. They're always going to be making content. Someone's going to get that shot. If we don't try, then it'll never happen. And so every time someone told me no, every time someone said, "We can't do this type of stuff," I took it as a no was always a step to a maybe. And then enough maybes turn into, sure, why not? And that's how I got started. I did an internet show, then we did a TV show with my wife Sandra. I won all these Emmys. The show got canceled, and at that point, most people get their shows canceled after 7 Emmys, and they would get depressed and would get bitter. Again, I'm so naive, I thought, now we gotta make a movie. And so, what's the hardest thing you can do in an animated kids movie? Make a movie that celebrates death, and Dia de los Muertos, and bullfighting, all these topics that could not be harder to make in a movie. And again, I could not have done this by myself. It took someone like Guillermo del Toro, a filmmaker who no one of that stature looks for first-time directors like me and decides to give him a shot. And so I owe Guillermo everything. And he said, "The reason I'm going to help you is because I think one day you're going to help others. And so you have to pass this down." And obviously I'm not quite there yet to be able to help others that much, but I'm sure as hell going to try. And so we made Book of Life, and Book of Life was the film with the largest Hispanic cast in the history of animation. Every single studio said, "You can't make a movie about Latinos. You can't make a movie with this subject matter. There's no audience for this." And so the more times people would say no, like they kept closing door on us at every place, and it got to the point where we could smell the door and go, "Oh, that's oak. This is a good place. we gotta come back here." And so eventually 20th Century Fox and Real Effects took a chance on our movie, and we made The Book of Life. And the biggest lesson I got from it was, in order for you to make something that resonates, it should always come from an honest place. I truly believe that we live in a world full of cynicism, and there's so much sort of looking down on emotion. And so as Latinos, we could not be more emotional. We could not be more passionate. And I really believe that if the work we do is work that's coming from a real place and a work that's full of heart, then it's bulletproof. No one can tear it down. So thank you guys for this. This is I will use this as a sign that I'm on the right path, that our community of Latinos is hugging me and giving me strength to continue, and I will use it as a weapon to continue to smash those doors down and keep going. Thank you.